entertainment.
Thank you guys for joining us live on State of the Jungle presented by First Star Logistics for a special War Room edition of the show as we'll be going through all of the Bengals 7-round picks. Oh, as of now, they have just 7 picks, but we never know how this draft could unfold. Appreciate you guys for spending your Wednesday night with us and the crew. I've got my usual crew here with me. We got Evan McPhillips, got Logan Fulmer, and we've got the man, John Sheeran, joining us live. We want you guys to draft along with us. Tell us who you guys would pick. We have a couple of different angles set up. We have the actual draft live so you guys can follow along with the board. For each pick, we have a 10-minute timer as we discuss, and we go through all the picks, and we try to make the best selection for the Bengals' future. So without further ado, boys, are you guys ready? Guys, if you guys can do us a huge favor before we start, give this video a like, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Greatly appreciated. And without further ado, it is time to start the 2023 NFL Draft. And it's time to ring the bell. Bing, 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 or whatever they say. Let's get it started. All right. Bryce Young is the first overall pick.
Checks out.
Checks out. Oh, yeah, I'm validated. 100%.
Validation.
I'm validated 100%. Right? That's what we've been saying the entire time.
There goes
Bryce
Witherspoon.
Young.
My heart's broken. I just couldn't hope hard enough.
All right, the first 10 real quick.
Yeah, let's go through the first 10.
Oh, there we go.
Oh,
folks.
God.
Gotta run that back.
Well, we got to run that back, I guess.
Go run that back. 1 second, folks.
Technical difficulties.
A little bit of technical difficulties to start out. Bryce Young was the first overall pick in the first one. That's pretty much how I see the draft playing out. I've been pretty adamant that I see Bryce Young being the first pick off the board.
Mhm.
And, yeah, it's going to be pretty interesting.
Twice in a row. You're on fire.
Just further validation, you know. If you didn't get it the first time, if you thought it was random, well, there you go. That's it. That's the pick.
All right, there's the top 10.
All right, let's redo this again, right? I guess it being messed up, it shows us that this is going to be a great draft. So
CJ Stroud 2.
CJ Stroud went 2. Okay.
Christian Gonzalez.
Wow, back-to-back corners.
Okay. All right. We got Joey Porter Jr. going to the Raiders. I don't know how Raiders fans feel about that one, but
I'd be happy for it, but
let's keep it going.
Will Anderson fell to 10.
okay, I wouldn't be happy for it.
If Anderson fell to 10.
I didn't see
Oh,
Will Anderson
come on
sliding
now.
past him. I would not support that.
All right. Let's keep it going. Cam Smith and the guy that we may or may not have been
Wow.
targeting, Michael Mayer's off the board to
Wow.
Detroit. Ah,
That's early.
that is early. That is a little bit.
It's
early.
definitely early for Smith.
Little
it
early.
feels.
So I guess they got rid of Hawkinson to get Michael Mayer. That would be an interesting one. Right? Kincaid, okay.
They're making our
Darnell Wright's
Darnell
Man,
Wright is a
Darnell
Jaguar.
off the board.
Darnell Wright is a Jaguar. Okay.
Replacing Juwan Taylor there. All right.
It is a good pick. Oh, man. Dallas, what?
Anthony
What?
Richardson.
I guess they don't believe. I guess they don't believe
in Dak.
I guess they don't believe in Dak.
Jerry's not messing around. I respect it.
Jerry's not messing around. Jerry says he sees talent on the board. Well, right now, what we've got looking at us right now, the Buffalo Bills pick is coming up. We got Will Levis, obviously not a guy that we're interested in. We got Bijan Robinson, Brian Branch. Everybody's Aaron Donald comparison, Kalijah Cansey is sitting out there. Yeah.
This is no debate.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if he's there, right? I mean, maybe there's a little bit of a debate to be had. Danny, you could do us a favor, scroll down a little bit. Keely Ringo sitting there, Anton Harrison. Okay. Oh man, Your
Logan's
boy's there.
man.
Logan's guy
the
is
big
there.
boy, Darnell Washington.
Oh,
Hey, if you don't get Darnell right, just get the other Darnell, right?
Mhm.
Hey, man, you can wear number 0 now.
Okay. Okay. Let's see what the Buffalo Bills do.
Break my heart. Break my heart. Do it.
Bijan.
Bijan Robinson.
Oh, they
It's perfect.
finally get their
Bijan
running
Robinson.
back.
Okay.
All right, so I've got 3 trade offers. I'm gonna call
All
these
right.
in,
Let's
you
talk
guys.
about it.
The Seattle Seahawks pick in the second round, number 37, 5th round
No.
pick.
No.
Next year's second.
We're not
third.
doing this.
Yeah.
That's too much future capital for a team that needs some help right now and needs to get younger. I think they pass on that one.
Yeah.
I know we
Alright.
do.
The Raiders, a
Nope.
4th, 5th, 7th.
Nope.
No.
Not interested in what the Raiders are offering us.
Third round? Fourth
Trade
round?
back. Wow. Yeah. No, thank you. Not interested. We'll see
Alright,
you.
And the Panthers.
Nope.
No, that's
Nope.
way far back to move for a 4th round pick.
All
No,
right,
thank you.
everybody.
We're
That-
sticking here and we're making
You
this pick.
guys have 10 minutes on the clock.
The Bengals are officially on the clock.
Starting.
Guys, we just need 1 minute.
Now.
We need like 1 second. Like I'm
Do we?
staring, I'm staring at it.
Do we?
Yeah.
Who do you want?
Elijah Cansey. 100%.
Mm,
Listen.
Mm.
Obviously, offensive tackle's in need, man.
Mhm.
Tight end's in need, but I don't see a tight end that's worth this pick.
mhm.
Cornerback, I can see it. I don't see a player here that's better in every facet of what you evaluate a draft prospect than Elijah Cansey.
Elijah Cansey. What do you guys thought? What do you think? What do you think, Evan?
I'm right there. You're talking about a guy who fits your team need, gives you that pass rush help that the Bengals are looking for.
Yeah.
You're getting a guy who can be that next Geno Atkins type for you disruptor on the interior, which they just haven't had. And obviously, he doesn't have quite the length or the strength that Aaron Donald does, but he definitely has a versatile pass rush repertoire. And I think that is going to serve him well. And I think it's an easy pick for the Bengals where need meets value. Logan?
Logan.
I don't know. I mean,
He goes to the
I-
mic so people
I
can hear you.
think at this point, the way the board fell, I think you almost have to. You know, there's a couple guys that I still like a lot here at 28. I just with what he brings, with what we need, especially obviously, you know, there's some questions with him in the run game. He's lighter, he's a little smaller for, you know, a defensive lineman.
Mhm.
But like I said, what he brings to the table is exactly what we need, not only now, but that's a valuable position that's only increasing in the NFL. The interior pressure has just been more and more coveted year in and year out. And I mean, there's maybe 1 or 2 other guys that rush the passer better from the interior than Elijah Cansey. I can't really argue it as much, you know, as I want to draft some of these other guys that I really like, but he's here, and I don't think I'm going to really think twice about it.
Can we talk about Anton Harrison at least a little bit? I think
We can talk about it.
yeah, I would love to talk about Anton Harrison. We need help on the offensive line. We need a right tackle. We obviously know the Jonah Williams situation. I just don't think it should just be a nuts and bolt type of thing where it's just like we just kind of just say, you know, Elijah Cansey right off the back. We have to actually think about it. I mean, because it's not. You think about it. I understand the prospect that he is. He does struggle in the run game for me at least. I don't think he's that much of an anchor there. I like enough of what BJ Hill has brought to the table. I just don't know if I want to go into the season with you know, questions at the right tackle position, or especially if we obviously know Jonah wants out, right? We don't know how that situation is going to play out, and I don't want to be relying on Jackson Carman or anybody else. So I understand that's the sexy pick right now, but we got DeJuan Jones on the board, who's everybody's in Ohio's consensus pick, you know, at right tackle. But I do think we need to talk more about Anton Harrison here. I like Elijah Cansey. I like what he brings to the table, but the fact of the matter is, the last few, you know, 2 seasons, the offensive line is what hurt us, right? And I understand, you know, let's just talk about it. If we wind up, you know, drafting Elijah Cansey, that means that we undoubtedly are banking on the health of Lyle Collins. That's what we're banking on, right? Because we're not going to go into the season with questions at right tackle. We're not going to go into questions. Well, let's talk. Can you do me a favor? We can click the offense tackles that are on the board right now.
That's the thing too with Harrison. Like, I think he's a fine prospect in general, but he's not really your right tackle. You know, you'd still be moving on the other side of the line.
Sure.
It's just, you know, I think if he was just a standalone right tackle, I'd be a little more all in. You know, not that it's obviously a little bit easier to transition when you're coming from college at the positions, unlike Jonah Williams would be doing. It's just he's not a right tackle. You know, so I think that's where it kind of
If you go this route, are you pretty much committed to keeping Jonah Williams for a year at right tackle unless a Godfather offer or something that blows the Bengals away comes through the doors?
Yeah, I mean, I listen, 20th pick. I'm just not in love with that, honestly. Just where I stand with it.
Mm.
I like Kalijah Kancey, but when we have needs on the board, I think that it's important that we try to address those, especially in the way that we're pigeonholed right now. But I mean, it seems like I'm overruled in this situation, even though I'm quote unquote the GM right now, right? It seems like they're the
GM, you have
consensus.
5 minutes, 30 seconds left.
Okay. It seems like the consensus is going with Kalijah Kancey.
So I feel like, to me at least, Kancey is like slight concerns aside, he checks pretty much every box where it's like you look at needs, but you also look at him as a prospect in itself. And it's like, I don't know if I can pass that up, but also like there is a quiet need behind BJ Hill. That was a huge problem for the Bengals
I agree.
at the end of the season, not having an extra 3 technique with any explosion at all to rotate in with him. Like BJ Hill is best when you have a guy like Kancey or just anyone in that mold that can get him off the field for maybe 200, 300 less snaps than he was last year. But going back to Harrison, like you said with La'el Collins, like you're banking on him to be healthy. I don't even know if I'm banking on La'el Collins at all this year.
Yeah.
It's almost just like banking on Jonah Williams, just saying, hey, your trade market has not really materialized the way that you wanted to. And at this point, your best option is to try to gut it out at right tackle. But obviously, if you can move Jonah Williams, that's great. And it would be amazing to do that.
Yeah.
But I don't know if we can do that now.
All right. Well, yeah. I think we have to send the pick in. We got 4 minutes. So I just sent over the pick to the NFL.
All right, the pick has been sent in with 4 minutes and 20 seconds left. Let's see who the Cincinnati Bengals have selected. With the 28th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, your Cincinnati Bengals have selected defensive lineman Kalijah Kancey from Pittsburgh.
There we go.
I think,
all right.
I think that's, listen, I hope that pick, I hope that, it works out. I mean, it's definitely an upgrade, at the 3 tech spot. But, there was a guy that I was eyeing a little bit later in the draft, a couple of guys I was eyeing a little bit later in the draft that I think would have made sense there. Yeah, I mean, got to bite the bullet on that one. I guess.
This is why we said you want to be flexible, right?
Yeah.
When you come to the draft, why you want to kind of patch those holes
Yeah.
with need in free agency, because then you don't pigeonhole yourself. And when 2 tight ends that you expected to maybe be there go off the board and suddenly you got Kalijah Kancey in your lap.
Yeah.
If you're going, man, we really needed, a right tackle or a tight end and we, can wait on that, then that's how you start reaching on guys. That's how you start kind of making the small mistakes like that where the value doesn't quite fit. So unfortunate that they don't have a more surefire answer at right tackle right now, but the situation's unfolded how it has. And I still think there's going to be an opportunity, if you're talking especially that you're going to keep Jonah around for a year, that there's some guys you can get here in the 2nd round, maybe the 3rd round, that you can develop or feel a little bit better about once you get them with Frank Pollock. Let them work for a year or so.
We've got mixed reactions from people. People are saying we like the pick. Others are saying great, for best player available. Others were saying DeJuan Jones should have been taken. But overall, seems like everybody pretty much likes the pick. Let's see what else we got.
Yeah. DeJuan Jones goes to Kansas City. Will McDonald goes to Pittsburgh. See, that's a guy that I really wanted for us, honestly.
Apparently, Tomlin was talking up.
Yeah.
Will
He's a
McDonald
guy that provides a lot of juice, man. If you really look at it, and I just want to stay on this for a little bit. Will McDonald is a guy that I think, when you look at our pass rush, Trey Hendrickson, he is the guy, right? He is the guy on the defensive on the defensive line that you rely on. Now you got a guy like Kalijah Kancey in there. You hope that he's able to, help Trey Hendrickson in the pass rush game somehow. But I really do think quietly, as you said before, 3 tech was a spot. I also think edge rusher is a spot as well, because for all the reasons I like Sam Hubbard, I think that there could be a spark provided there. And the last couple of seasons, Joseph Asai has been hurt. He's dealt with injuries, he's dealt with nicks and things of that nature. But Will McDonald was definitely a guy that I was eyeing. But hey, he'll give us hell in the AFC North.
I mean, I like Will McDonald as a prospect in general. He's also, one of the oldest prospects in the draft, especially. So, I mean, I think he's a guy you'd like a little bit more out of initially. He's a little raw for how old he is, but I think the upside is definitely there, especially as a rotational guy. And again, Pittsburgh develops defensive linemen very well. So like you said, it'll be a little annoying. We'll just have to, there's plenty of good edge depth. In this draft.
Let's see what else is going off the board. Anton Harrison goes to the Colts, man.
Forbes just blew away.
Man.
Brian Branch.
There's Gibbs.
Yep, Gibbs off the board there.
Rango.
Oh, thank God.
Hard.
I'll go back to some of
Clark
these.
Phillips to Pittsburgh. So Pittsburgh now just grabbed 2 guys that we wanted. But hey, Kalijah
Hey,
Kancey.
he's up on this wee stuff, all right?
Hey, I'm just saying,
That's a big one too, right there.
Yeah.
One of the youngest players in the draft.
Yeah.
Really, yeah.
Jacksonville again.
Laporta goes. Yep. Downs to Dallas. I like that fit.
All right.
Again.
You guys ready to be on the clock?
Yeah, do me a favor before we get on the clock. Before we see what Buffalo's done, can we see what tackles are available?
Of course.
See what tackles are available.
Show it to me, then break my heart.
See, it feels like if you don't get a guy, and the rest of these guys are, no offense, but they're not what we're looking for, right? They're not what we're
There's
looking
not
for.
many tackles that I really feel like, warrant a pick here in this range. There's some guys a little bit more down the board that I would be comfortable with in the 3rd and maybe even the 4th. But for the 2nd round, the value is just not really at tackle, to be honest. I mean, it's an okay group, but you're not really getting plug and play. You're getting decent upside. It's just, it's not really the sweet spot of the tackle draft this year.
I like Freeland personally, but I mean, I don't like him enough to draft him right there, but I like him.
How do you go ahead? No, please.
Freeland's the only guy I would consider making an argument here just because you have the athletic upside. You have 3-4 years of consistent production. BYU is a little bit interesting because they do things a little bit differently there, and you're gonna have to work on his pass sets a little bit. But I do think though, if you don't go tackle in the 1st round, you're probably accepting the fact that your internal options are probably gonna be best. But I think Blake Freeland's fine for developing for a year.
Right. I agree.
How do you guys feel about like a Matthew Bergeron here? Keeping in mind positional value, keeping in mind the need. Is that someone that you feel comfortable taking this pick?
No.
I
I just think they're listen. If we're going by our stance, drafting best player available, he's not the best player on the board.
Okay. Yeah. No. 100%. I completely agree. The draft is for good players. Free
Yeah.
agencies for needs.
100%. Let's see what the Bills do. Are they sitting there picking yet? Or?
They're still figuring it out. They're using up the whole clock.
Jordan Battle.
Okay. Oh no. Okay, it's the Jaguars.
All right,
I thought it was the Ravens for a
three
second.
trade offers, guys.
The audacity of these GMs, man.
I know, man. This is offensive.
So are we hanging up the phone?
Oh
guys?
yeah, hang up
Hanging
the
up the
phone
phone,
on
yeah.
Jacksonville there for
All right.
sure.
The Patriots.
Hang up the phone.
All right.
No,
Bill
that's
Belichick. Sorry, man.
Too deep.
And the
Oh
Buccaneers.
dear God. They're just trying to throw a bunch of crap at the wall
Yeah,
and see if
I'm-
it sticks. No.
Yeah. They're offering a 3rd, 2 5ths, a 6th, and a 7th. Yeah, I'm good.
No,
All
thank
right.
you.
Let's see.
Daniel, do us a favor. If we can go to Edge.
Where I was going to
Edge.
Oh, there we go. Isaiah Foskey's on the board.
Mm,
That's not
okay.
bad.
You scroll down a little bit.
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah, it's
Nah.
looking at more of that top end. Can we
Isaiah-
also, while we're here, can we take a look at my favorite position in cornerback just to see what's out there on the board?
We could take a look at corner, sure.
I like Foskey. I do. I just want to see if some of my other guys are there. You know, what I'm
Doesn't this
saying?
feel like it's shaping up to be a defensive draft for us a little bit?
It
Or
is?
a little
Yeah.
bit?
Julius
My
Brents.
guy.
Julius Brents is a guy.
He is,
is a
man.
guy.
He's got that size. He's got the length. I mean, he's got giant. He,
Well, make your
6'10" wingspan.
so we have 10 minutes on the clock.
Right.
Timer starting now.
Well, you have to sell us on it. Like, tell us why you think he should be the pick there.
I mean, you're talking about a guy who's like, I think he measured in at like 6'4", 200 pounds. So he's got the size, he's got the length, he's got quick feet. for
7
his
foot
size.
wingspan.
7 foot wingspan. I mean, dude is Mr. Fantastic out there, stretching those arms all the way out. So you get a guy who can be that big, that physical, and is still light on his feet too in the 2nd round.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, those are the size traits that you're looking for in a 1st round corner. So to be able to get him here, especially when you need corner, we're talking about a position that is going to be just barren for the Bengals. They could need as many as 3 corners next season, depending on how Mike Hilton works out. I mean, Sidney Jones is a nice ad, but that's a 1-year deal. So you're talking about it's going to come back around as a need, and it's going to come back tenfold when you don't have Cheeto under contract, when all you have is Cam Taylor-Britt and Mike Hilton.
Well, I mean, us going the move that we made out there to go get Sidney Jones, right? That one is a move where we hope that, you know, our defensive coordinator can pretty much prepare him, right? He's a guy that came into the league. We liked his measurables. We saw that he had a huge upside. I don't know if corner is the right pick at this spot right here. I don't know if it is. I hear what you're saying.
Right.
And I like
I should have say my part on it. That's all.
And I appreciate that. Hey, can we go to tight end, see what tight ends are on the board?
I'm feeling who's going to be the best. Yeah, there he is.
I know who I want.
I like Tucker.
I like Tucker Kraft.
You like him
I like Tucker. Listen, we're going to position
Foskey. I know how much
that's
you
tough.
Like Foskey.
That's tough,
what
right?
I know you like
that's
Foskey.
tough.
That feels like a conversation right there.
Right. So
well,
let's take it there.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like we're going to be in a position where we're going to be, playing with choosing between pennies we don't draft a tight end here, honestly.
Well, if you have Irv Smith this year, can you get a tight end who fits a particular role?
Can we trust that Irv is going to stay healthy? He's been hurt all year.
That's fair.
Also,
every year he's been
I agree with the point about the tight ends getting a little thin, but we don't want to just use that as our explanation to take Tucker Kraft. He's definitely the best tight end available. But there's some guys on the board
we said
that are
best player available,
fine,
right?
Yeah.
Or is he just the best tight end?
Yeah,
I think you can make an argument that he is the best player here. I'm not going to disagree with that. And I do agree that there's a pretty decent drop off after him. I just wanted to throw out there. Don't let the drop off deter you from the picks here compared to some of these other guys that might be there. I think I'm kind of with Ev. I'm really on this Julius Brents kind of hype.
Hey,
I mean,
all right.
6'3", 6'4", runs a 4.5, like 7 foot wingspan. I think he pairs perfectly with some of the corners you have. He's different. He's an anomaly at the quarterback position.
I want to talk to some of the scouts that we have as well here with us. If you guys can, pretty much comment down in the comment section who we got here. Well, the debate right now is Isaiah Foskey, Julius Brents, and what's his face?
Does anybody
Tucker Kraft.
really want Foskey, or are we just kind of throwing him in?
I think.
Well, he gives us
he
definitely gives us the pass.
We got Foskey, we've got Brents, and we've got Kraft that we're looking at, right? So what do you think about that between that, John?
So I mean, I understand best player available. I also think at this point you need to pair best player available with your needs, and I feel like Kraft is probably the best combination of those two. I think Foskey has a good chance of going in the early seconds. So seeing him here, like that definitely makes me pause a little bit. I would also say that with cornerback, I think Brents is really attractive in terms of just the cornerback prospect that you want to pair with Luna Rumo. I do think that there are a handful of cornerbacks that can get in rounds 3 and 4 that I feel like are along that same line. And I know Logan just said don't worry about the drop off, but I am a little worried about the drop off.
That's fair.
Tight end, and I wouldn't be promoting Tucker Kraft if I didn't think he'd be worth this selection right here. I do think he is to an extent. Yeah,
I think that's a good pick. Or a good point. Sorry, I do think there are some corners that you can feel like for future need, like the not immediate need that the Bengals have. That there's someone who, like maybe Garrett Williams later, can kind of maybe get healthy.
There's a few corners.
Work his way back. Yeah. So
we have 5 minutes left, guys. 5 minutes.
What are we signing about? What are you thinking?
What are your thoughts, Malik? You've been quiet over there for letting us talk. What do you got?
It just feels like we're really, this is a defensive draft for us. That's what it feels like it's shaping up to be this for us. I mean, and if you ask me, who would I'd rather have? Because listen, is Julius Brents going to start day one? No, he's probably not. Right? With we still have high hopes for Cam Taylor-Britt. We're still expecting Cheeto Awuzie to come back. We brought in a guy like Sidney Jones, right? We want a guy that's going to be able to come here and make an impact. Isaiah Foskey right there, he's a guy right down the road, right? He's a guy that we've seen. He's a guy that we've scouted. He's a guy that we know what he brings to the table, right? He has all the measurables. He has all the intangibles. He provides the upside from a pass rushing standpoint. I think helping this pass rush will go a long way. We can't just rely strictly on Trey Hendrickson to be the juice in the passing game. We also need to make sure that we're not putting too much on a guy like Joseph Asai.
Right.
Especially seeing all the injuries he's dealt with. So I hear what you're saying from Julius Brents, and it's tempting right here.
Right.
It's tempting right here, but damn, is Isaiah Foskey not tempting as well? Somebody has to sell. I'm the GM. Somebody has to sell me, get me off of him right now. Isaiah Foskey.
For Isaiah Foskey, for me personally, I mean, I'm not I mean, I feel like he's a good pick
Yeah.
here. Like John said, he can
Yeah.
easily go earlier. I just think there's some decent value down the board with the edge rushing position to where, we talk about the drop offs, how we don't want to let it affect it. But I think the drop off from Foskey to some of these other next few guys is minuscule compared to what it is from Tucker Kraft to Luke Shoemaker. And, some of these, the corner drop off isn't crazy either. But I think, like to John's point earlier, I think when you're looking at best player available, team needs, you mix it all together. I think when you mix all things considered, Tucker Kraft just stares at you in the face, so.
We've got 4 minutes left. 4 minutes
You
left.
want another argument, man?
Yeah.
Tucker Kraft balled out at South Dakota State. We got area scouts in that area. They're pounding the table
Yeah.
for Tucker Kraft. They
Yeah.
put in so much work going out
Yeah.
to the middle of nowhere to watch this guy ball out.
Yeah.
That's the argument for him.
He's a monster with the ball in his hands.
Yeah.
He is, man. He forces missed tackles
So-
like crazy. So I think it's
so-
between him and Foskey is what we're arguing here.
So we're not talking Julius Brents anymore.
I think we've all kind of stated our case for it, sung his praise, but we've talked about there's corners that we can look comfortable about later. Whereas tight end, defensive end, there's a little bit more of a drop off.
Somebody said running back. Anybody? What's you guys' thoughts?
Like a lot of the third and
Show
fourth
me the
round
board, show me the board, show me
prospects
the
with
board.
running backs, man. There's a lot of guys like Tyjae Spears.
No.
You've got Kendre Miller. I think there's a couple different guys out there that you can really feel good about.
I agree.
I'm blanking on the guy from UAB right now.
Dwight
Right, McBride. Yes, he also was an excellent back last year. So I think there's other options out
Guys,
there.
we got 2 minutes to make the pick.
2
I
minutes,
think
50
So I think you guys are
seconds.
settled on tight end. I think we're about settled on that. We went
I-
defense first
I'm
round.
gonna
Give
send
Joe
the pick
Burrow a
in.
weapon.
I'm going to send the pick in.
Send the pick in, brother.
Just sent it in.
All right. The pick is in. Let's see. Let me find. All right, everybody. With the 60th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, your Cincinnati Bengals select Tucker Kraft, tight end,
Let's go.
South
There it is.
Dakota
All
State.
right.
We got our guy. See, that makes me happy. I'm happy about that pick. He's a guy with huge upside. He's a guy that it can prove to be, to help stretch the field. Yeah, I like that pick a lot. I think that solves our tight end position a little bit, at least for this year, before we have to, double dip at some point, maybe and grab a guy. So Tucker Kraft and Kalijah Kancey, I think we came away.
How do you guys
Pretty,
feel so far? Your first two picks, you got defensive lineman Kalijah Kancey,
Yeah.
Tucker
I
Kraft,
like
tight
whoever's,
end.
I like whoever's grading this. I see A's all across the
Yeah,
board.
A's.
No, I feel good about it. You come away with a little bit more juice for the defense, a little bit more juice for the offense too. And guys, there are other players, like we said, at corner, at running back. These are positions that you can attack
Yeah.
later in the draft. You want to try and attack these premium positions as early as possible.
Mhm.
And it can feel like tight end's a luxury pick, but we know the state of the tight end room, right? And as soon as Irv Smith goes down with an injury, suddenly you're really worried. You're really concerned. So I think that's a good insurance as well as a good way to add a weapon that can really threaten the middle of the field.
If you guys could do us a huge favor while you're joining in on the conversation, make sure you give this video a like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. This is the first installment of our draft war for the Cincinnati Bengals. So please give this video a like, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and let's keep the conversation going, Daniel.
Man, that Pittsburgh pick. Pittsburgh's having a good little draft.
They're having a
here.
good
I
draft,
don't like
man.
it, but
John's
they're
gonna have
drafting
something to
well.
write
They're
about
drafting
over
well.
there.
I don't like this.
All right.
All right. Coming up. Brent's Freeland. Tucker too.
Okay.
Keep you guys right here for a sec.
Devin Achane. Okay.
Went right.
Is this the top
Yeah.
of the board you're showing, Daniel?
Yeah.
So I'll tell you right now.
Man,
Okay.
I want us to take a look.
DJ Turner's interesting.
I want us to take a look at the running backs right before Buffalo picks. Let's take a look at the running backs for a 2nd.
Mhm.
Yeah, I know you love your corners right now, man.
I'm just saying, the dude runs like a 4.26.
Listen,
Even when he's beat,
I'll
he's
tell you
not
right
beat.
now. There's a guy that I love who's a corner
Mhm.
later in the draft.
Talk dirty to me, Malik.
Huge upside.
Yes.
Huge
Ooh.
upside. I'll talk to you about that.
All right.
But let's look at the running backs right now. Whoo! There's a guy staring at us, man. There's a guy staring at us, right? We talk about the running back position, right? A lot. We talk about how we need to get more juice in the running back game. As long as Buffalo doesn't steal our thunder here.
Buffalo took Bijan earlier. So.
One of our scouts on online is a big Chase Brown fan, right? Running back from Illinois, right? I don't know if that's the pick that I necessarily do here,
That is
but
early.
that is really, really early.
not
But
the pick I would make. Spoiler.
that's fine. But it's still something to talk about. for sure, especially because running backs begin to, and you know, he's one of our area scouts, Coach Matt Minnick. You know, he's a big Chase Brown fan, so want to keep the conversation rolling. Let's see what Buffalo's going to do here.
Buffalo selects
Marvin Mims. Okay.
They get a
Well, Miami's
receiver.
disrespectful.
Yeah, no, Miami's
Miami's disrespectful. Tell them what Miami just called us for and told
Yeah,
us.
They called for a 6th round pick this year, a 3rd round pick next year, and a 5th round pick next year. Are we slamming the table no on that one?
Absolutely, we don't want that.
Block 'em.
All right, Mike McDaniel, no. The Kansas City Chiefs, are we doing business with them?
Not interested in making
not
them
for a
better.
6th. Dear Lord, that's all.
Next
future
year's
picks.
3rd.
No.
Next year's
Yeah.
5th.
Because they don't have
No.
any picks this year, man.
Right. Yeah, they're just trying to get any extra picks they
This doesn't
can
even
right now.
All right, we'll slam the table no. The 49ers.
Nah, no. I mean, that's it makes you look. It makes you look a little
It
bit.
does.
There's just a lot
yeah.
of nothing.
A lot of nothing. Yeah.
And the Raiders.
No, thank you. That's 5th and 7th and a whole bunch of future.
I'm starting to think there's no prospects in the 2024 draft.
Right. Yeah, they're all looking
It's
ahead,
gotta be
trying
that,
to
right?
unload these
It's gotta
picks,
be
yeah.
that.
All right, everybody. You guys are now on the clock. 10 minutes starting now. 3rd
So
round.
we talked about running back, right? We're sitting right there. Can we scroll up a little bit to the top of the running back position and just take a quick gander at
Oh,
that?
yeah, of course.
So we're talking about guys like, you know, depending on your flavor of running back you like, you've got a Tanks Bigsby, you got a Tajay Spears, you said you got Chase Brown. There's a lot of running backs there. Dwayne McBride's still on the board. There's a lot of running backs there that we feel confident about, that we probably feel like we can circle back around next round and get one of those guys, right? Malik, you're making a face at me.
I'm gonna pound. I haven't pounded the table yet for one guy.
It's
I'm
right
gonna
there.
pound right
It's
now.
right there. Pound it.
Tajay Sharp.
Right now.
I'm with that.
Tajay Sharp right now gives us the juice. I don't trust that he's going to make it another round. I don't. And if we're talking about juice in the running back position, I'm inclined to double dip at running back, to be completely honest with you. Dan, you do me a favor, scroll down on the running backs real quick. I want to see if another guy that I like is still there. Nope. I like Deuce Vaughn, but he's still a little too
A lot
short.
of our
for me.
Who
area
are you
scouts
thinking?
love Israel.
Who
Woo!
was it?
Evan, you might be able to sell me.
On who?
You might be able
What
to
am
sell
I?
me on coming off a running back, because there's a guy right now that I love, Keaton Mitchell. I love Keaton Mitchell. I love his game.
See, that's the thing.
Listen,
again.
he is Deuce Vaughn, but the perfect height in what we want in a running back
No
position.
disrespect to the short kings out there.
No disrespect to the short kings,
Represent.
but you know, unfortunately, you guys know I was targeting Zach Charbonnet. He's not here anymore. But if we're talking about a guy that provides juice in the running game, a guy that hits the hole, a guy that we don't have to worry about dancing in the backfield, that's going to hit the ground running for us. Listen, Deuce Vaughn. If Deuce Vaughn was a little bit taller, I would have picked Deuce Vaughn in the 2nd round. That's how highly I view that guy, right?
Mhm.
But you want to talk about a guy from a smaller school in East Carolina, right? And he's not getting the praise that he deserves. 100% Keaton Mitchell. 100%.
I do like the Spears argument. You got a guy who is over the 80th percentile on his broad jump and his vertical, so you know he's got that explosiveness. His gap grade, his PFF grade on gap runs last year, 93.4.
This is Keaton you're talking about, right?
This is Tajay
okay.
Spears.
Okay.
That's a guy who I think would be an excellent fit. Obviously, I'm a little hesitant with all the running backs that we do like.
Yeah.
I would like to take a look at positions like edge, like corner, just to see, or tackle. We need to look at tackle.
So we're looking at it right now, right?
Right.
What's the Syracuse tackle name?
Bergeron. Go to tackle, Dana. Go to tackle. Offensive tackle.
Oh,
Tyler
buddy.
Steen.
Scroll down a little bit more.
We've got to.
Offensive
Scroll
tackle.
down a little bit.
Of course.
I'm just curious.
I don't know how much I'm seeing there that I'm going to like coming back around in the 4th or 5th.
Nah, there's
feel
nothing I like
it's
too much.
I mean, there's a few
What are you
guys. I'm
thinking,
not
Logan?
gonna-
What are you
I mean-
thinking?
I mean,
Talk to
Lor-
us.
You guys
Lauren-
have 7 minutes.
Gotcha.
7 minutes.
So just in general, Matthew Bergeron, again, my whole argument about Anton Harrison, left tackle versus right tackle. Syracuse is what it is as a football program, believe it or not. But I mean, if I'm drafting a offensive lineman here, I would rather take Warren McClendon from Georgia all the way down the board, because he's a right tackle and he's been a damn good right tackle, which is what we need. We need a right tackle
Mhm.
more than anything. And I think he can kind of come
Go
in.
off, head
He's
coach.
kind of come in and if we're going tackle, I'm not even saying that's what I would do, but I think if I am taking a tackle, I'd rather take a guy who has proven in the SEC that he can hang time and time again. And he plays the position that we want. You know, the upside may not be as high as some of these other guys, but he can come in and kind of do what Volson did for us last year, give you a solid piece, maybe not be the highest upside, but you can kind of, you know what you're getting from him. You can rely on him a little bit. And that's just why I go away from Bergeron here opposed to some of these other people down the board. I'm not saying necessarily we take McClendon here, but that's just my argument why we don't take Bergeron here.
Sheeran, what do you think?
Man, I haven't heard-
Bergeron it seems like the pick here.
He
for
has
me.
played both sides of the line.
Yeah.
He has.
And at this point, I want a guy that's closest to the surest things. And I hear what you're saying. What Logan's saying is making great points, right?
Right.
Those 2 tackles we could definitely look at, right?
Right.
But
What other positions are we looking at?
I mean, you're looking at that, you're looking at edge, and you're looking at corner, I think, right? Is
Check
there-
out edge and corner.
since we got tight end, we got interior defensive
Corner,
line.
you got DJ Turner, Eli Ricks.
Ty Blue Kelly is very good.
let's go to edge for a second.
We got 5 minutes.
We
30
got
seconds left.
5. Let's go to edge for a second. Isaiah McGuire, man. I like him. Andre
You're
Carter.
edge
I don't.
thirsty, man. Like,
Yeah.
respect
Oh,
that.
yeah.
I
He
respect
loves
yeah.
that D line.
Oh yeah. Oh, because you figure the last couple of drafts, like, and this is the one thing that the defensive coordinator has pretty much said, we haven't really given him his draft, right? We've drafted a lot of offense the last few drafts. And guess what? Honestly, guys, I'm inclined, as long as we get our tackle at some point, let's then go out and let's beef up this defense as much as possible at this point. But if you ask me, what's up?
We got some of the people in the chat
Sure.
saying Bergeron, damn it, Bergeron.
I will say this is the juncture where I'm comfortable with Bergeron. I feel like the second's too early for him. It's
For
like,
Bergeron?
yeah, I have some issues with this game, but at this point, like I can be on board with it.
Check out the corners again. I think we haven't really, for as much as we wanted,
We got
Julius-
4. We got
4
we got
minutes,
4
30
minutes to get
seconds.
as much
these
as we
pick in.
wanted Julius
Corner.
Williams a few, literally a round ago.
DJ
Turner's a
DJ
freak
Turner.
athlete.
Wait,
Eli
do me a
Ricks.
favor. Scroll down.
Yep.
I want to see if my guy's still available.
Good one, Sharon.
Who-
Yep, he's here.
Who's
My
that?
guy,
There's 2
Carrington Valentine.
Oh,
Carrington
Kentucky.
Valentine is the
from
guy.
Cincinnati, Ohio.
You want to
by the
talk
way.
about a guy that's gonna help the cornerback room? You want to talk about a guy that we can get later in the draft? Oh yeah, Carrington Valentine.
There's a couple
But
guys
right
down
now,
there.
I want to address. We have to address either. I think we're deciding between Orgeron or we're just or what's his face?
Running back?
No, we already drafted running back. Go back to.
We didn't take a running back.
We didn't take running back yet.
No.
No.
It's right there. Can't see crap.
We didn't make that pick. We were just talking about Spears.
GM's overworked.
I know, yeah.
Oh yeah, I am
This is
overworked,
getting to him.
100%. I need a raise.
So who are we
Bergeron.
deciding between? What else are we looking at a running back here? I mean, I know we talked about some guys, but I mean,
I think we
If-
can come back around on that.
I agree completely. So what else are we deciding between Bergeron, or is it just?
Are we just arguing alternatives at this point?
Bergeron, Spears.
And the running back.
I'd rather
think-
hit running back next.
Can
week.
I make this pick, guys?
You do.
Good.
You
All right,
are
I'm
the
gonna make this
GM.
pick. I'm gonna
All
make
right,
this
he's
pick.
gonna send it in.
He's going to
I'm gonna
surprise
send
all
this
of us
pick in
with
because
this
we got
one.
3 minutes. Oh, sorry, I said the name wrong.
Oh.
Don't want to fumble it.
Don't fumble this pick, Malik.
People
You're-
are saying
you're-
Spears. Some are saying Bergeron.
I sent the pick in.
Ooh.
I don't know if I like the sound of that.
Uh-oh.
All right.
Did you send the wrong name?
With the 92nd pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, your Cincinnati Bengals have selected Matthew Bergeron, offensive
There it
tackle,
is. All right.
Syracuse.
Let's go. Let's go. We get the offensive tackle of the future. You know what I mean? And I think this is all pick we can all agree upon. But honestly, guys, right now, I think we need to start looking at defense to really get this defensive line this cornerback room some juice if we possibly
I
can.
want to keep an eye on that running back position to see if
I
there's a
agree.
run that goes on
Agreed.
them, because we talked about McBride, we talked about Spears, we talked about a couple different guys that we think
Yeah,
are going to
we
be
have
there.
so if we're gonna do that, listen.
Our guy Mason said, take your time next time.
Listen, Keaton Mitchell. Keaton Mitchell's the guy that we need to talk about. I'm trying to tell you guys, Keaton Mitchell.
Well, here's our pick right here, right? So let's take a look at the running back room real quick.
First of all,
Pull
let's talk about the
that up
Bills. The
for
Bills
us.
just picked Cameron Latu from Alabama. That's a horrible pick. That's a horrible pick. Thanks, Buffalo.
Way too early.
Thanks, Buffalo. We appreciate you.
Good
Not
players
a
getting
guy
pushed
we
down.
were
We got ahead of that tight end.
That's why we got ahead of it. Okay. Daniel, did we get any offers?
No.
Trade offers?
No offers
No,
for
no
this
trade
round.
offers. Okay.
Offers. All right. So what does the running back room look like on the, or what's
Let's
the
see
running
what
back
their
board
running
still
back
look
we have.
like?
I would check running back, corner, and edge.
Yeah,
Off
those
the
are
Running
kind of
back,
the
Kenny
three line.
There's still
McIntosh,
plenty of.
Kendrick
Okay, so you
Miller.
still got McBride. You still got Miller out there.
You still
Those
got
are two
Izzy down
quality-
there.
Go
I
scroll
see
down,
him
scroll down,
barely.
scroll down, scroll down.
That's
Mm.
Deuce Vaughn.
Nope, keep scrolling.
Keaton Mitchell's
He's
still
there.
there.
guy.
Yeah.
Let do me a favor. Go to corner. Go to corner.
Still there. He's at the bottom.
Are you going for your
Riley Moss is the guy.
Yeah, Riley Moss is interesting. Do you think it might be you
Guys.
want to take him in the 4th, or you want to wait on the 5th? for
Malik
that?
staring at his guy.
Guys,
Malik is
listen,
yeah.
in the NFL draft, you go out there and you get your guy. My guy is Carrington Valentine. That's
This
my
ear-
guy.
this early?
You want to talk? Yeah, this early. This is a guy that's just now starting to get a lot of hype.
I'm gonna have to fight back on that.
So fight back on it.
What?
I think you can
Scroll up to corner.
do not Drew sample this.
I'm
do
not
not,
Drew Sam-
go. I
Have
can
you
get
sur-
this
have you
guy
turned
in
on
the
the film?
4th, but I really love him, so I'm gonna take him.
Have
in
you
the
turned on
second.
the film? Have you watched that guy?
I have not watched him closely.
That guy.
but
Guess
again,
what? I promise
It's
you.
not just
I
about
promise
how
you.
you value them.
It's not.
though.
It's
It's about how
100%.
all the other
It
teams
is
value them too.
100%. And guess what? That's a guy right now that's starting to get a lot of buzz, and we're grateful that he's even here right now.
When you look at Carrington Valentine too, in this perspective, one, hometown kid, from Cincinnati, Ohio. That obviously, he doesn't play too much of a factor within your draft process, but definitely helps a little bit.
Yeah,
Definitely
scroll up,
helps a
scroll
little bit. But the thing that Valentine does really well, he's in a phenomenal press man corner. You turn on the tape and he's physical time and time again. He does a good job of just getting wide receivers off of what they like to do initially. There's, like Malik said, there's still some developing that needs to be done, but he is extremely, extremely physical for a corner. And, those guys are pretty hit or miss. Sometimes they have their games. There's guys that take advantage of it. But I think, it probably is a little early for me too, as much as I do like him, but I don't hate it as much as this side of the couch seems to think.
Wait one round, please.
I'm cool.
Real quick, everybody in the chat, a lot of people are saying take Israel
I'm not going to
from
disagree with that.
Pittsburgh. What's your guys' thoughts?
He's the youngest player in the NFL draft. And
Still 20, not even
yep,
going to be
he's-
21
yep.
by the time the season
Yeah,
starts.
he just turned 22 months ago. So we need a running back. I mean, he'd be the running back I prefer through this range.
Keaton Mitchell.
I'm-
Keaton Mitchell
I'm
is
on
the
Keaton
running
Mitchell
back.
bandwagon.
This is me saying that apologies, Carrington Valentine. I wasn't familiar with your game, but 95th percentile in soul tackle market share, 83rd percentile in pass deflection market share, 76th percentile in explosion. This is me saying Carrington Valentine's great in the next round. I think we can wait off just one
Just
round.
wait.
Okay, we'll see if he's still there.
All right, then
We'll
what's
see
our
if he's
pivot?
still there.
What's our pivot then?
All
Where are
right,
we
so
looking?
All right,
edge.
let's
I
go
want to
check
look at
edge.
Let's
edge
go to
and
edge.
running back.
Yep.
Isaiah McGuire. Isaiah McGuire's got to be the pick.
Just go down a little bit, Daniel. Just curious.
What?
Just curious.
No, not you. I'm just saying, what? Like, he's still here?
I mean, I would prefer both of those edge rushers down at the bottom, Robert Beal and Jose Ramirez, to him. Even Lonnie Phelps, my hometown kid. I like Robert Beal a lot here for looking at edge, especially. I mean,
Later in the I went through some mocks for myself personally. I got Robert Beal in the 6th round.
yeah, I got Carrington Valentine in the 7th.
Well, guess what? And when also in the 4th round,
Yeah.
he wasn't here.
No,
He
no.
wasn't here on one of
The
mine.
thing I like about Robert Beal, just specifically over a guy like Isaiah McGuire, for your specific example that you threw out there, is he runs a 4.48 at an edge rusher, which is just, you talked about Will McDonald earlier, having all that extra added juice he can bring here. I think Robert Beal does that. Again, maybe it is a little early. Maybe we can wait a round or two. But I think he's definitely a guy, for me, I'm going to be keeping my eye on here. And the guy right under him, Jose Ramirez, 12.5 sacks last year, just an uber producer in college. Obviously,
Agreed.
small
Agreed.
school. But I think there's some weird edge depth here.
But
And
Isaiah
it's
McGuire?
very thin. It's very thin. It's running thin. But
We've got two things real quick. 6 minutes on the clock,
Mhm.
and a lot of people are saying, "Can this be the real Bengals war room?" They wish it was like this.
All right, so I think we're down to edge and running back here is what we're looking at. I think based on what Logan just said about there are some edges you can feel good about. I know McGuire is a talented player who's staring you in the face there. Got some really good running backs on the board. I'd be on board with that.
Some of our scouts are messaging us in, and they want Izzy. Okay. Let's go.
Our area scouts love Izzy.
Yeah.
How do you guys feel about that? John, Logan, could you guys be on board with that pick?
I'm on board. Like, the production's there, the athleticism's there. I feel like the value's there at this point.
Mhm.
I'm on board with it.
I said too, he's 20 years old. He just turned 22 months ago. He's the youngest player in the draft. So,
Well,
you don't really give a lot of
I just sent the pick in.
Okay.
I just sent the pick in.
cool.
All right.
Let's see what we got.
All right, let's see. We're gonna go Let me find him. Let me make sure. Let's build a little suspense. We got 4 minutes on the clock.
Oh gosh.
I mean, I think when
that
you, I think
suspense when the pick is in, but it's just.
I think
there
when
and they're
you,
still
I think when
talking.
you look at it, we got to make sure that the people that we are drafting, right, can be contributors not only for this season, because these positions that we have started to draft are positions of need right now, right?
Right.
And things we're looking for juice. So there is a world where we might have to double dip at some spots as well. So I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page here. But
All right. So the pick is in. Let's see if we listen to our draft scouts. With the 131st pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, your Cincinnati Bengals select Israel Abinaconda.
There it is.
Pittsburgh. Nailed it.
We got our guy.
There we go. Hey, good pick. Good pick.
Listen, man.
We got him.
At the end of the Bengals season, the AFC Championship game, the thing that killed them, I think, the most, aside from a lack of interior pass rush.
Exactly. Let's talk about Valentine for a second. And guess where he went? Guess where he went? Guess where he went? He went to Cleveland. He went to Cleveland. That's the guy I told you. I said he would not be here. He wouldn't make it to this point. I said it. That is a game changer. You want to talk about a cornerback of the future? You want to call him Lou Dini? You want to call him Lou the Mad Scientist? That's a player that he changes around. You need to trust the GM. And when I say we need to grab a player at some point, that's what I mean when I say we need to grab a player at some point. You want to know why? Because Keaton Mitchell is a running back right then and there that was staring us in the face that we could have got the next round. But guess what? You know what? I digress. Let's hope that this kid goes on and has a phenomenal career, and let's hope that that Valentine isn't exactly who I think he was going to be. But yeah, that's the simple fact of why I said we should have went with him from the get-go.
Look, man, for every time that you
Wow,
can say,
GM,
look, we're
GM
right,
leak.
and we don't even have any production to look at, for every one of those instances, if we reached, there's a Drew sample. This draft is a crapshoot.
Well, he's
man.
no
So
Drew sample.
You have to consider.
He's no Drew sample.
You have to consider the value. And I'm sure people sat there and said Drew Sample is no insert bust tight end. Like,
Nobody said Drew Sample.
The people in the draft room who took him 2 rounds
nobody
early
said Drew Sample was a second-round pick.
brother.
You know what?
It's
You know
the
what?
people
We're
inside-
we're becoming
it's coming
like
from
we're
inside the
becoming
draft
like the
room,
Cleveland.
buddy.
We're becoming like the Cleveland Browns organization. We're arguing at the top. This is how
Where's our sock and
rumors.
boppers,
This is
man? I
how
wanna go
rumors
at it
start
right
coming
now.
out, and people say, you know what? There is issues at the top, but you
You have to consider how other teams value things. You got to value your
And
pick.
I told you that this guy was going to be a stud in teams. He's a guy. Guess what? He won't even make it to this point. He won't even make it.
You
to
think
this
he goes
point.
in the 3rd round?
That guy? Okay.
The 3rd
Okay.
round.
I'm good.
I mean, like
listen.
John read off a lot of stuff. There's a lot.
know what?
To like
I'll bet you a
about him.
Chick-fil-A milkshake. He goes later. In the
I don't want a
third
Chick-fil-A
round.
milkshake. I wanted
That's your
Valentine.
favorite.
I wanted Valentine.
Look,
That's
man,
who I wanted.
You're the GM. You texted the pick. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know why you're
You know
yelling
what?
at
You
us.
want to know why? No, I'm not mad at you. I'm not mad at y'all. I'm just over
He's
here
mad at
saying
me.
because he pounded the table. Listen, you know what? I'll leave it at that. Let's keep it going.
Run it.
Let's keep
He's
it
a
going.
Brown now.
Head
He's not
coach
gonna do
Logan.
anything.
Head coach
He's
Logan.
a
Find
damn
a
Cleveland
middle
Brown.
ground for them.
And that's the margin of error in the draft. This is what I'm talking about. There are a lot of
corners.
There are, but
All
there.
right.
Listen,
That's the
he was
bright
going to be
side.
good.
I
It's
agree.
okay. I
I
like
agree.
Izzy. I like the pick with Izzy. So Evan, I'm not going to ridicule your pick too much, but guess what?
It's my pick now. Gee.
You know, I wouldn't be as mad as if he didn't go to Cleveland, but he went to Cleveland. He went to Cleveland.
The Bengals front office. All right.
God
Our
damn.
scout said we love his projection, but we like him next round. Our coach said
Izzy
we like him a
Izzy
lot.
is a great pick, and I want to. Izzy is a great pick. He's a great pick, but man.
All right. Indy's ahead of us.
That's going to be like your new 4.5, isn't it? People are just going to be dropping that in the chat. Like, hey, Valentine.
All right,
Malik,
let's
be
see.
my Valentine.
We've got one pick. We got one trade offer. The Bears are sending their 5th round pick next year and their 7th
No.
round pick. What are we
Not
saying?
trying to give up assets in this draft. No.
All right, 5th round pick. The Cincinnati Bengals are on the clock.
Do me a
folks.
favor if we can.
Yeah.
Let's go to running back.
All right.
Again?
I told you this position we're in, we might have to double dip.
Uh-oh.
We might have to double dip. Who knows?
I'm not double dipping. I will fight against that one.
You got
Do me a favor. Go to.
I'm double dipping a tight end before I double
Go
dip
to
a running
cornerback.
back. Oh,
My
hey,
guys- my
Riley
guys
Moss.
right there.
Hey, Riley Moss.
what are you guys thinking?
Malik, yeah, Malik's over there making faces again. Malik, what's on your mind, buddy?
Do you need somebody else to talk?
Yeah, you guys can. Yeah.
Somebody
Go-
sell me on Riley Moss.
Yeah. Talk, John. Tell us why you want Riley Moss.
Man, I think the
Daniel,
guy's a player.
Look at that linebacker.
I mean, just 83rd percentile in terms of pass deflection market share, solid testing numbers. Again, the build of someone I feel like that can thrive within the Bengals defense. I think he's going to go probably in the 4th, maybe in the late 3rd round. To see him in the 5th round, like this seems like as equal amount of value as Izzy McGuire was in last round. I feel like it's a really good pick right there.
So we look at tight end, please.
Of course.
Just to add a little bit on Riley Moss, he's 6'1", 193, so he's got good size. His arm length is a little short in the 8th percentile, but when you're looking at like his 10-yard split, you're talking 92nd percentile in that short area. Talking about explosion, he was over 80th percentile in broad jump and vertical. So between those, I feel like he's got the measurables. He's got what you want. You talked about Lou being a DB whisperer. I think that's a guy who could easily provide solid depth and develop into a starter that you can feel confident in the future.
Let's check out edge here too. I think that's, Malik kind of really talked about needing some more juice in this pass game, and we kind of need some here.
Isaiah
McGuire
McGuire.
still here.
Yeah,
Isaiah McGuire still here.
Oh,
well,
then this is easy.
I'm completely cool with that. If he's really sitting around until what is this, the 5th round?
5th round.
Yeah, I feel like you almost got to run that pick in. As much as I feel like Riley Moss is a great.
Well, let's
great
talk about. Let's actually talk because I think this is. I
go
think
back
this
to
is.
corner
I think
too.
this is it.
Just
Right
I just want to look.
here. Yeah, I think this is the discussion right here. Is
Scroll a
it
little bit.
Riley Moss or is it Isaiah McGuire? I think this is the real discussion to have right here.
It's tough because the urgency to add to that cornerback room is tremendous. And though you do want more juice from the pass rush, right? You've got Kalijah Cansey already added to that room. You've got Joseph Osai taking a step forward. You've got guys like Cam Sample, like Gunter, that the Bengals felt better about them and played them more down the stretch last season, and they responded, right? So maybe they feel like they have enough depth at that where, again, you have 2 corners under contract next season. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not counting Jalen Davis. He's played 280 snaps and he's 28. All right. Like, I'm happy he's got paid. That's great, but he is not a legitimate solution at the position. So you're talking about if Mike Hilton is playing well at 30 still, you still need 2 or 3 corners. I feel like that helps to kind of fix that need a little bit. Whereas edge, Trey Hendrickson still got at least 2 years. Hubbard's still floating around. You've got Asai coming into his own. You got Cam Sample looking better. I feel like you could maybe go corner here.
Thoughts real quick on backup interior offensive lineman, center, guard.
That's literally where I was about to go.
Hey.
So I wish you
Hey.
would let me talk
Wow.
before. If you go over to the interior offensive lineman
Yes,
here a
sir,
little
head
bit, Dana,
coach.
exactly right at pick 163, matching right up.
Oh
John
my
Gaines
God.
from UCLA is really good to me. He's played center, right guard, right tackle. There's a bunch of people here. When I'm looking in this range for Bengals specifically, it's, we need versatility. You need people who can back up a multitude of positions. I mean, right now, your backup center is Trey Hill. We don't really know what that is. Do I really want to find out? No, not really. No, John Gaines and even Jared Patterson up top. There's a bunch of people up here that you can provide that versatility. And I think if we're really being honest, they might have a little more upside than Cordell Volson himself. But that's, these are more long-term things, depth pieces. But I think the idea of getting better in the interior offensive line, even if it is just depth related, should be discussed.
I do think I didn't realize Jared Patterson was still on the board.
It's a good one.
For me, that's tough because Isaiah McGuire is a guy that I really like. I think he provides a lot of the. I'm out on Riley Moss right now. Just to be honest with you guys.
That's fine.
Check out Edge or what did you just? Who did you just say? Isaiah McGuire. Yeah, scroll down a little bit. I'm just looking. I'm just curious.
McGuire and Patterson.
This
yeah,
drop off here. I'm just a little interested to kind of check that out. Nick Hampton's a little interesting. Keep going. I mean, it is running.
Is Beal off the board?
Yeah.
Beal got drafted?
And Jose Ramirez.
I'd feel pretty good about going with McGuire here.
The edge is getting a little thin.
I don't think there's I would take McGuire in the 3rd round, and he's staring at me in the 5th. There are basically very minimal red flags on his profile at all. He's got the production, he's got the size, he's got the athleticism. This is a home run pick in the 5th.
Okay, we all on board with that? Let the GM
leaving. Are we on board with leaving a guy like Jared Patterson out there? A guy that could probably develop into our starting center.
I just don't know how immediate center is
5
a need
minutes on the
right now.
clock.
You
But
can get
offensive line, though.
It could again, immediately, maybe not. But the need for a center could be
But if you need a center, can't you go get a cheap, reasonable guy in free agency? Can't you get a guy in the 3rd or 4th round that could start for you?
Well, yes, you can. And I mean, I think Jared Patterson is a guy who can start for you, but we just have a good center. And it's just, for me, it's just like, if, God forbid injuries happen and Ted goes down, I think the downgrade from Ted to Trey Hill is astronomical. Like, and I think that's something that is really something to consider here again. But I still think there's other quality interior offensive linemen that can go there, to where like we all kind of talked about with McGuire, he's probably the best value here, probably BPA, and it kind of fits with all those needs we want to, similar to Tucker Kraft, where it lines up BPA, position of need, team need.
I just I'm thinking about sending the pick in right now. This is tough. Do me a favor, if we can go back to
What position?
interior offensive line, please.
Yep. Patterson. Still got these guys.
Gaines late. Like,
You know what?
there's
Do
a
me a
guy.
favor,
I like
actually.
Gaines here. I'd be
If
Go to safety for a second for me.
I like it.
Whoa.
I like
Interesting
it.
for me
pivot.
for a second.
Okay.
What do we think about Brandon Joseph?
I think this is about his range, but I feel like the value on McGuire right now is just too exceptional.
Yeah.
I
think
really
Brandon
feel
Joseph's
like
a good player.
Right.
But like, I just personally don't want to draft a safety. I think at this point, I think this is a good range for this
Yeah,
talent.
You're talking about your 4th
but-
safety right now.
Yeah.
That's kind of
Just so
what
you
we're-
guys know, I've already sent the pick in. As well.
All
I
right.
just wanted to hear your thoughts first before we officially say
pulling a fast one on us, Malik.
All right, so the pick is in. With the 163rd pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, your Cincinnati Bengals select Isaiah McGuire.
Let's go. There we
Edge
go.
from Missouri.
Get hype. Clap a little bit. Be excited. You and me haven't agreed on a pick all night, have we? Have we? There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. Again, a guy that,
Man was pounding the table for Elijah McGuire in like the 3rd round, and he gets to the 5th, and he's like, I don't know.
No, it just
It's like the thing. Like, what's wrong with this guy, man?
here's a guy,
I don't want to
Guys,
liken it to Andrew Billings,
guys.
but
That's what I wanted. Keaton Mitchell to the Rams, man. They got their guy, but we got our running back, so we're happy.
I was gonna
right?
say I feel
As an
pretty damn
organization,
good
we're
about this
happy.
right
We
now.
got our guy, so
Gaines is Gaines got
All right.
all right. Can we do it before the Buffalo picks? Can you do us a favor? Can you take us to the interior of the offensive line?
See what we got. Oh, Gaines is gone.
Yeah.
Dang.
There's some okay guys.
That would have been a pick I would have really liked for the
That guy's
Bengals
named
here.
Juice?
Yes.
Drugs.
Yes.
He's not
First
bad.
round name alone.
I'm just saying
Like,
he ain't bad. but-
Do me a favor. Let's go to wide receiver. See wide receivers still on the board.
interesting. Okay. Yeah. No, I'd be willing to look at
Wide
look
receiver.
at
We
some
haven't
late
talked about
slot
receiver
options,
yet.
Ooh, I see a Bearcat.
Yeah. Yeah. Honestly, yeah, that's
See
interesting.
what the Bills do and then get into it
Yeah.
a little bit.
Yeah.
All right.
What you got, Buffalo?
See what Buffalo does.
Ivan Pace is off the board, by the way.
We got one trade offer: a 6th round pick this year, 7th, and a 7th.
I mean,
To move back 10 spots.
I kinda like that.
To move back 10
I
spots?
do like that. Because at this point, we talk about
Let's do that. Let's do that.
All right.
Let's
We
do that.
haven't got a corner yet. We can maybe double dip in running back, tight end.
Can you tell us what the offer is so people can tell us?
So the offer is the Bengals will send their 6th round pick for the 49ers 6th round pick this year and 2 7th round picks.
So moving back 10 spots
You're
and
gonna
picking
move
up
back
2
10
7th round
spots.
picks.
All right, the Bengals front office has
I'd-
officially accepted their first trade of the year. Trade back 10 spots. All right.
There goes Wiley.
Oh, we got another trade offer.
No.
3
No,
7th round
we're good,
picks.
we're good.
No.
Oh,
No, dear Lord.
I was
no.
messing with you, of course. Though.
Give me with the
Uh,
okie
All
doke.
right, 10 minutes.
Can
on the
you do me a
clock.
favor?
What's up?
Go to kicker for a second.
Ooh, kicker. or
I'm not
punter?
going for a kicker.
Jake
This guy's
Moody?
actually
Jake Moody.
a punter,
Yes.
and he's the best one in the draft.
We have a couple 7th round picks now, though.
Kicker or punter?
No, he's a punter. He's a punter. Jake Moody's a punter.
Oh wow,
He played kicker and punter.
double.
Yes.
So
So
emergency backup.
so that means if
That is nice versatility to have for the special teams. Is that something that we want to try and address in the 7th round, though? I would push for trying to get a potential.
I'll do that under one condition. Under one condition.
What's your one condition?
Because this happens in the war rooms all the time. With our first pick in the 7th round, if he's there, we're drafting Jake Moody.
I can get on board with that.
Is everybody on board with that?
Fair.
All right. So let's. What do you want to look at? This is where we go around, and this is the point where we say,
I like
what do
how
you want?
I like how you brought up receiver.
Yeah.
That's
Trey
sneaky
Tucker.
neat.
Yeah.
All right, let's look at the receivers.
Let's look at receiver. Let's look at corner and see what we got there.
I'm gonna scroll right there. Stop, Dan. For me,
All
the
right.
guy I was gonna talk about is Darius Davis from TCU. Not necessarily because of his wide receiver ability, but he is pretty easily the best returner in all of the draft. He had 6 return touchdowns in his college career, and he's really only had that's only 2 years of really returning production. You know, from a pure receiving standpoint, he's gonna be a slot guy. He's really small. He's fast. He's shifty. But he's one of these guys that's like when you're looking at this point in the draft, you need people you know are going to have like a path to a specific role. And his specific role is his kick returning upside. He provides some juice in the passing game. He's not going to see the field too terribly much as a receiver. But again, he can be a slot guy. He's really fast, shifty, and he's, in my opinion, the best returner in all the class. So I think that's something to consider a little bit.
Can I ask you a question here? Because there is a rule change being proposed about potentially taking away kickoff returns, and then you're investing in a guy who's 165 pounds.
Yeah.
So-
I mean, I obviously without kickoff returns, I'm not even talking about him right now.
Daniel.
So if, obviously, I don't know
Go to punter.
I don't know how I can't really see that happening, but it's definitely a possibility. And again, I just wanted to throw it out there. He's a guy, like Malik said, we could probably get him later too. I just wanted to throw it out there that we kind of need a returner.
It was Bryce Barrington.
Yeah, it was Bryce.
That's
Barrington.
who it was.
I don't know why it was banging. It was Michigan's confusing.
That Michigan crossover.
Yeah, he was the guy.
Sorry, I don't look at punters.
So you asked about wide receivers. You were talking about Trey Tucker. You want to talk about him at all? Do you feel like he could be a potential option at this spot?
Dude is fast, and you can never have enough speed, man.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
again, Chase and Higgins stretching the field is great, but when one of those guys goes down, you miss that element of ability to stretch the field. So which is why you get Tucker Kraft and Izzy in there, and you already have explosion in your check down options, but you still need to make sure that safeties stay responsible in case, God forbid, something happens. But also you can play the slot too, and you need depth there.
For as much as we talked about this position, we still don't have a corner.
I know. I want to look at there right
Like,
now if we can.
Let's
Yeah.
get corner. Remember Elijah Apple's still sitting out there for us.
He is, but
So is Trey Flowers. We brought in Sidney Jones.
It's just
right?
more
I mean,
so some cheaper long-term depth for guys that at least can develop a little bit. I don't really see too many of these guys or those guys that you named in free agency really developing all that much. I mean, Cottrell Clark is a pretty good option. He's more of a slot only kind of guy, but again, that's not a. I think for the best, he's the best corner here in my opinion. Again, he's a slot only guy, depending on how much you really value that. But
It should be
again,
valued, especially in modern NFL.
It's what killed us in the
Mike
AFC
Hilton is
championship.
They picked on Mike Hilton. Kansas City did.
he literally does it every
again,
single game, right? At this point, I feel like we should be drafting to combat against Kansas City because they're a team that we play often, and that's a position that was abused in almost every single matchup with them, if you will, and it's because it's the speed, right? So
I would be on board with the Clark pick here. I feel like you need to add that depth to the cornerback room. I feel like he can give you that slot versatility like you talked about. That gives you a potential Mike Hilton replacement in case he has a bad season. He's 30 years old and you want to move on from him. That gives you a little bit of insurance there. And I feel like maybe that we can come back around and get some wide receivers later.
There's another corner I want to check out real quick.
Yeah.
Dana, will you scroll down here before we move over real quick?
Yeah, of course.
He might be pretty down here. Keep scrolling. I'll let you. All right, stop. There's a name right here. That's a pretty popular name.
Here's a guy.
In the NFL. Stephen Gilmore, brother of Stephon Gilmore. I think obviously that's a fun storyline within itself. But when I'm looking at college corners specifically, something that I love that he does that not a lot of people do is he travels regardless of where your wide receiver one goes, and he goes to Marshall. So it's not that he didn't go to Marshall because he was a poor recruit. He went to Marshall over Auburn and some of these other big time schools. He's a guy to consider. Again, he's 330. We can get him later, but in general, traveling, that confidence in the corner, he has it. He has, the bloodline per se, but it's just, a little big guy to consider here down the board.
Okay.
Look at the
I feel like
running
we haven't
backs.
allowed him to pick a guy yet. We haven't, right? I mean, so if you're looking at it, you think Gilmore is the guy?
Look at tight end 2 for me.
Of course.
I'm
also
just
Potential
throwing
double
out some
dip.
corners. We're talking about corners, so we need
People
we need
also
to-
after tight end, let's look at safety. People are wondering about
Well, there's a
safety.
tight end right here. Braden Willis for me and Brenton Strange too. I want to talk about Braden Willis here. Oklahoma, he's been uber productive in the passing game, but something that he brings that, not a lot of tight ends really bring is if you go back and watch some of these Oklahoma games, he was the red zone quarterback time and time again, running read option in the short yardage situations. And that's a specific package that, the Bengals do not have. Yes, Joe Burrow is mobile, but we do struggle in some short yardage areas. That's a little bit of a wrinkle that you can throw in here that
Right.
not a lot of other players in general, much less a tight end. He has several passing touchdowns. He has several rushing touchdowns. He has several receiving touchdowns. He just do a little bit of everything. He's a fun little player. He's a great lead blocker. He's a good Swiss Army knife here. Run out of time, but there's my Braden Willis spiel.
So what do you guys think?
Do me a favor.
What's up?
Scroll up. Let's go back to
Dare go quarterback?
Well, why don't we do that with our 7th round pick? We can get
I don't hate it. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Max Duggan,
we'll circle back in the 7th on
Let's go to
that.
running back for a second.
running back.
Max Duggan sold me a lemon in the national championship. No thanks.
Scroll down. Let me see.
Tavion Thomas, Utah.
He's so good.
We're getting down there.
Yeah.
That's the last one. Must be going. Who are you thinking of?
All right. I'm gonna send him the pick.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
GM taking over.
Is he gonna be that fullback right there?
That fullback.
Hmm.
Telling you, fullback
Do me a-
is the
do me a
missing
favor.
key to this offense.
Let's go over to cornerback again, please.
Cornerback.
Yeah, let's go back to
I've always said more eye for him.
Cameron Brown, Ohio State.
Corners. I mean, not that I was really expecting getting an elite corner this late.
That
in the
you feel
draft,
enthusiastic
But man,
about.
they really there are some guys I had written down that I can like in this range, but they're all long gone too. Clark's the last guy that's sort of tempting in that room. I mean, if you want a corner, I think this is your last time to do it. That with really any sort of relevant upside. That doesn't mean that should be the pick. It's just if we're drafting a corner, I think it's
Yeah,
time.
I just
Finding a
I
cornerback
just-
who's as productive and athletic as Clark is in the 6th round is pretty rare. So
Yeah.
that's not bad at all.
You know my feelings about the cornerback position, Malik. I ain't got to tell you.
All right. So the pick is in. With the 216th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, your Cincinnati Bengals have selected Stephen Gilmore, cornerback, Marshall.
Prioritizing the bloodlines.
Put in the work, Scotty, and
Okay.
he got his guy.
He sold
Wow.
him.
What are they rating on that pick that we just made?
So right
Oh,
now,
I'm sure
Let's hear
people
what the
are-
talking heads are
indeed.
saying.
So
I'm sure there's
far,
very
League
measured
West, yeah.
so
opinions on that
far,
one.
Kalijah Cansey A, Tucker Craft A, Bergeron A plus, Izzy B plus,
Mhm.
is Isaiah A plus, and Stephen Gilmore D plus.
Look, I'm not going to sit here and tell you Stephen Gilmore is the absolute best corner in this draft class. But when you're looking at that range, like we just talked about, Clark had a lot of things you like. But after that, man, it's really just you're really got nothing.
Yeah.
I think Gilmore really gives you, he's got the competitiveness. He travels. He does all the stuff you want, just from the personality traits of a corner. He's got the bloodline. He's got everything you need. I mean, there's a lot to like. Obviously,
do you think he can develop into something?
yeah, I mean, I think I think it would take a little bit. I don't think he's a guy that you're really gonna go in there and throw in the fire right away. But especially with how the Bengals have done with corners, I think really getting a guy that has hopefully the potential of his brother in your room. At the very least, he has that bloodline to work and to kind of develop in there, and the upside is clearly high.
Little more context on Stephen Gilmore, because I'm sure other people like myself are not quite as familiar with him. Very sure tackler, according to PFF. Only a 6% missed tackle rate in his final season at Marshall. Was targeted 55 times and only allowed 23 receptions and 1 touchdown, compared to 7 PBUs and 3 interceptions. So ball production's there. He was good in coverage. Passer rating of 47.2 when people target him. So getting a guy like that and taking a chance on the bloodlines and him developing with a guy like Lou Anarumo, I can get on board with that.
Yeah.
If you want to watch anything of him, they played Notre Dame. That's probably your most The one you're going to be able to
Oh,
find.
that
the
was
most,
an ugly
the most
game from
film.
Notre Dame.
Yes,
I
it
remember that
was.
one.
All right.
It was all because of
God.
Gilmore, by the way.
Let's keep it going.
The Bengals are now on the clock.
Do me a favor. I know what I said, right? I know what I said about the special teams. Do me a favor. Go to wide receiver.
Of course.
Go down.
Or this is up, my bad.
Up. Okay.
Yeah, that's
Oh man.
Okay.
Oh, Trey Tucker's still
Tucker is
there.
still there.
Woo! This is where things start off.
I want to sell some jerseys and get some Bearcat fans in. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah, we scroll down a little bit. I'm not.
Yeah.
We made this trade. I just want to make sure I'm familiar with on the other side how many picks we have left.
Oh,
with
we
our
have
trade.
We have two more.
three more.
Two more
more
after
after
this.
this.
Okay.
Two more.
I just sent the pick in.
So we said we were going to take our special
I
teamer
said-
with one of them.
I said I sent the pick in just now.
Okay.
So the pick is in
Yeah.
already. Barely 5 seconds into the draft. All right. With the 222nd pick in the 2023 NFL draft, your Cincinnati Bengals select Trey Tucker, wide receiver, hometown kid, Trey Turner.
Let's do it. What did they rate that pick? A.
Trey
There
Tucker,
we go.
A.
Okay. Okay. Trey Tucker was a good pick. I took back over for that one.
Yeah, my D plus was. Here we are again. Are we taking
Okay.
your punter?
Nope.
No.
You know when we talk about going out there getting a guy?
Yep.
Do we really want to rely on Brandon Allen to be our backup quarterback?
not in the slightest.
Not in
No.
the slightest.
Not even
right?
a little bit.
Let's go to quarterbacks for a second.
They are working out Aiden O'Connell. I don't
Yeah.
know if there's like interest in there, but
Yeah.
yeah.
No, I mean.
Oh, okay.
yeah.
I think that's good value at this point.
Who?
I know Dugan is a fan favorite,
Yeah.
and obviously he's a lot of fun. But I definitely think O'Connell is kind of that prospect that's staring you in the face right now.
I just feel like O'Connell, we can get him with with the other 7th round pick.
Sure.
I think he'll still be there.
So what about your punter then?
Let's go to punter for a second.
Your guy's still
Bryce
there.
Barrington's still there.
What do you think, GM?
GM Leak, what are you thinking?
He's gonna let you know,
How
Daniel.
can you not draft a punter with the last name Power? Like,
That's a good point. We need to have a real conversation here, Malik. Are you sure? Like,
I just sent in the pick.
Barringer's
That's-
he's interesting because I feel like his hang time at Michigan State was kind of Drew Crispin-esque, but he really showed out the Senior Bowl. So hopefully there's some improvements there.
right. Darren Simmons could probably help with that a little bit too. I'm sure he's going to be just growling
and
hang
kicking
time
in
through his
Michigan's
teeth
not
the whole
always
time.
easy either.
Right.
All right, everybody, the pick is in. The Cincinnati Bengals, with the 246th pick in the 2023 NFL draft, have selected Michael Turk, punter, Oklahoma.
Wow. Okay. Hey, pivot. All right,
You know?
Mr. GM.
You know?
Way to come off your priors. Tell me about it. Why?
You know?
Yeah. What
Better punter.
You made a
Stronger-
thing with
yeah.
Evan that's like we gotta draft this guy with the first Evan, then we drafted a different one. We're not.
Yeah.
He's smoke screening his own scouts.
Exactly.
I acquiesced to your
You
demands,
had
and
to,
you
had
pulled
to
this
keep
on
that
me.
one. You had to
Never
keep that
know.
one close to the vest.
Let them know your next move. All right, now
All right.
finish it off.
Do me a favor. Let's go down to the running backs. And Turk is the best punter in the draft, too.
Potential double dip.
Also, I feel like it hasn't. I don't know what in the world you're doing. Where else are you gonna find? Like, not in my podcast.
Good
You're gonna
call.
find something like this. Subscribe, follow, like, comment, do everything. Hit the bell. Do it now.
We appreciate that, John.
Appreciate
Thank
you,
you.
brother.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Let's go up to because right now, I mean, we're the last pick in the draft.
Yeah,
right?
you're
I'm
looking
trying
for
to-
somewhere that can
or
do.
like, you know.
make
This is the
team.
thing, right? So we're talking
Yeah.
about basically a preferred undrafted free
Yeah.
agent, right?
Yeah.
Versus
Do
I think
quarterback.
what you said with quarterback, you can get a guy who's going to stick on the roster
Mhm.
that is going to be cheaper than Brandon Allen. And sure, you've seen what you can do with backup quarterbacks that flash in a game or
Oh, yeah.
limited snaps. I mean, if you can turn him around at any point after looking competent, I mean, you could definitely
go to
recoup
quarterback.
that value.
Quarterback?
Yes.
I also want to look at tight ends when you're done too, Daniel.
All right.
Yep, we'll take one quick cursory look and see if maybe
and-
double dipping a tight
all
end
the
might be
same-
there.
All the same people.
Right. I think O'Connell's the pick if I'm looking at like a backup quarterback
Okay.
here.
And then whatever Malik's done, go to tight end, Daniel.
Malik, you still staring at it?
Yeah, I am, but I'm good. So go do
Tight
do
end.
what
All
Logan
end.
says at this point. Yeah.
right, head coach, what are we thinking?
Is this the top? Is this the top of
This
the
is the
board?
top.
think
I
this-
mean, my Oklahoma guy, Braden Willis, is still there. You know, he gives you, you know, like we're looking for somebody who's going to make the team. He will do that. He can kind of be your third tight end, do a lot of things. He can really be your backup tight end with Tucker Kraft for the future. He does a lot of different things. I mean, Leonard Taylor, another UC guy, a phenomenal blocker as well. If you really want to, you know, really look for just any ways people can make the team at this point. You know, his receiving profile leaves a little to be desired, but I mean, I think the flashes are definitely there if you're looking, you know, for a backup tight end specifically. What other positions we're going to look at?
Safety.
Safety.
Ronnie Hickman.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I'm not the biggest safety person here, but
Yeah.
Ronnie Hickman
this late?
does seem
That's
pretty
interesting.
decent
Yeah.
value. You know, what his role will be in the future, who knows? But
Right. That's the thing is, are you getting him on the field in the next 2 years? I mean, it's a 7th round pick. You don't have to, but that's
Yeah.
like half the contract that you're getting him on that value.
Do me a favor. Can we go to defensive line for a second?
Of course.
there's some interesting guys.
Defensive lineman.
Yeah, there's two that kind of stick out to me. I mean,
Who are they?
The first guy, Jade Silvera from ASU. He's just really strong, powerful. He's got a really good bull rush. But PJ Mustipher, for kind of what the Bengals are looking for, you know, the successors at different positions, he's just a massive nose tackle. It's really what he's going to be. He's very good in the run game. But that's about all he brings. But for a nose tackle, that's really all you got to do. I mean, if you're really looking for a potential, you know, just stopgap, you know, Reader goes down again, he can kind of fill that role. But obviously, I feel like, you know, most of these people along this line can probably do that as well.
Yeah.
He's just one that probably does it best.
I want to recognize an area scout who's apparently done a lot of work with Old Dominion, who's pounding the table for Nick Saldiveri. I don't even know who that is, but brother, that's a priority free agent right there. We got you, man.
Daniel, do you remember when we were at the NFL Combine and we OL 38 walked right by us and he told somebody where to go? That is exactly who he just said. That is who it was. And I told you, somebody is going to draft him because he is a great guy.
That was him?
That was him.
How'd you find that out?
Because I watched the draft. He was OL 38 the next day at the Combine.
That's
him.
Nick?
Yep.
All right.
Nice guy.
Good.
Don't know much about him on the field.
Nice guy, Nick.
Nice guy. Nice guy.
Good to know for the future.
All right. So what are we thinking here, guys? I feel like double dipping at edge or defensive line with an already kind of deep defensive line rotation risks pushing someone off the roster that you feel confident might be developing the right way. So I definitely think double dipping at a position like running back, tight end, corner, or going after a backup quarterback is kind of the optimal pathway here.
Check out the corners at this point.
I doubt it. I didn't feel good about anything
would
there,
take a
but
look.
you know I've got to pay lip service to the cornerback position.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm not on brand.
John Wright is here.
He's not bad. I mean, you're looking for people at this point just to give you depth. I think corner makes sense to a degree. Starling Thompson is very fast. That's about it. But he is super fast.
Wait, go to interior offensive line for a second, actually. Scroll up. Sorry to cut you off, Logan.
You're good out.
For your guy.
No, he's not here
Okay,
anymore.
Yeah.
Juice.
The juice.
We got more juice on the team.
Then you got juice on offense and juice on defense,
Scroll
man.
down.
That's what you wanted, right? More juice.
Anthony Bradford's a pretty athletic interior offensive lineman as well.
Yeah.
TJ Bass has
Yeah.
experience at left tackle and left guard if we're really looking for positional versatility all the way down here. I mean, he's been pretty solid at both. Not great at either, but pretty solid at both. We're looking at serviceable people at this
Can we talk about Nick Saldiveri?
I was going to say, Marissa in the chat with nice guy Nick allowed
Yeah,
0
let's-
sacks last season and only 18 pressures. He has 84 career snaps at right tackle.
well, 38.
I like it.
Okay. I got to send the pick in.
I also, before we do anything, City So deserves a shot here as well. Just another pretty solid offensive lineman that can do a lot of different things. I mean, it's just, again, we're looking for people that just have some upside. He definitely has some. It's the 7th round. It's our last pick. So
I don't know about you guys, but I'm feeling great about this draft.
yeah,
I had very little complaints.
The value you got at Cansey dropping to 28 dropping to 28. You get McGuire in the 5th round? Like that's
even Bergeron.
You
I'm
know
not
what?
the biggest
Danny,
Bergeron
hold
fan,
off on
but
that.
that's
Hold
a,
off on that.
that's a good
Hold off on that.
value for him.
Yeah, hold off on that pick.
Yeah, you solve your running back problem. You solve
I'm
your
not
tight
gonna-
end problem.
I'm not gonna make this pick. I'm gonna allow John to make this pick.
John Sheeran,
Yeah.
make the
That's
pick.
a bad move. I'm picking off names right now. You know, I know I just said he's a priority free agent, but I got scouts who are banging the table for this Old Dominion dude.
Yeah.
And if I'm looking for a guy that I can, at this point, 7th round offensive lineman, I'm expecting negative from you in terms
Right.
of actual starting like capabilities. Offensive line depth, though,
Yeah.
the guy who can develop, I don't hate it.
What? Come on, one more thing. Go to a corner. Go to corner for a second.
Corner.
Go to back to corner.
Is John Wright still there?
I'm looking at a different name.
I'll keep it right here.
So we talked about a lot about the backup quarterback position, right, and things of that nature, but
Mhm.
I don't think that there's anybody. There isn't a name right now that I'm looking at where I say,
Also running out of time.
yeah, we are.
Yeah.
But nobody cares. This is the 7th round at this point.
Yeah, we're probably overthinking this one a little bit, but that's all
Taco
right.
Bell commercial going on right now.
See Jared Collins in the chat. Nice guys get picked last. Makes sense. for nice guy Nick, I see you down there, Jared. That's a good one. I like that.
There's some interesting guys here. Nothing
There are,
like-
man.
It's a 7th round.
Right. You're talking about these are guys that you probably can make priorities as undrafted free agents. 7th round pick just gives you the rights to the guy
Yeah.
that you like the most.
My last call. Will you check to see if my kick returner is still there by chance? I doubt. Yeah, he still is.
Darius
But
Davis.
again, a guy will probably at least make the team if you really care about drafting people that are going to stick. He'll probably stick.
I'd probably go Juice or the right kid from Oregon State. Either one, I'm fine.
I sent the pick in, Daniel.
Malik has
Let's see.
sent in the pick.
Oh,
All right. So with our final pick,
All right. The pick is in, everybody. With the final pick for the Bengals, pick number 253 in the 2023 NFL Draft, your Cincinnati Bengals have selected Miles Brooks, cornerback, Louisiana Tech.
I don't hate some cornerback.
Miles
depth.
Brooks. Hey, I'm
Miles
always good
Brooks.
for
I
adding.
like
a little bit to the
it. I like
cornerback
his
room.
length. I like his size. I think he reminds me a little bit of Dre Kirk, who we had here a couple years ago.
Oh, yeah, Bengals fans are gonna love that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that he can develop into something special. He's got the length, the ranginess a little bit, and I'm a big fan of his. I think he can provide solid depth a little. Can we see what they graded us on that draft
Yeah, of
on
course.
that pick?
Yeah.
The last pick, please. Gave us a B plus, so
B+.
that's not too bad, I guess.
So before we, talk about it, I just want to give you guys a round of applause. The Bengals draft is now
There we
complete.
go. Hey, well fought, fellas. Well fought.
Yeah,
All right, what do you guys think? What are we thinking?
I mean,
Let me run through them really quickly.
Right.
yeah.
Kalijah Cansey, defensive lineman, Pittsburgh, round 1. Tucker Kraft, tight end in the future, South Dakota State, round 2. Matthew Bergeron, offensive tackle, Syracuse, round 3. Israel Abinakanda,
We're
running
gonna
back.
get there, Daniel. We'll get there.
We'll get there. He's the running back, round 4. Isaiah McGuire, edge, Missouri, fell to round 5.
Great
Stephen
pick.
Gilmore, Logan's guy, cornerback, Marshall in round 6. And 3 7th-round picks, Cincinnati's own Trey Tucker, wide receiver, punter of the future, Michael Turk, and cornerback Miles Brooks. That is your Cincinnati Bengals draft.
Yeah, I think that this is a pretty good draft for us boys. What would you say is your favorite pick outside of Kalijah Cansey, of course? Right, he's the easy one
I
to go
don't
with.
necessarily my favorite pick. I mean, I like the trade down in general, just giving you some more assets. I'm a big, in that later rounds, we needed to double dip in some of these spots. We needed to add punters, like that stuff that really made sense. I know that's not a specific pick, but I think moving down, allowing you to double dip at corner and get
Just
your
wanna say-
punter of the future is
and-
pretty good.
And nobody said Cansey was a bad pick. We were just simply debating the rest of the guys on the board at the time. There were some names that we like. I think everybody here agrees that if Kalijah Cansey is there, that's a home run pick, right? But at the same time, you still need to discuss and talk about each pick. I feel like later in the draft, as we got to this point, we were pretty much drafting for depth. I watched a lot of Miles Brooks film. He's a long rangey corner. He's a guy that I don't think he can necessarily be a starter day 1 or day 2 or day 3 or anything like that. But he's a guy that provides a good cornerback depth, if you ask me.
A little bit more on my Stephen Gilmore pick before everybody complains about it. Elite special teamer as well. Has played special teams all 3 years. Again, when you're drafting this late in the draft, you need people who can stick. Special teams to help you stick on the roster.
Yeah.
Did he go to Marshall because he was like staying at home?
I don't know why he went to Marshall. I know he turned down several other way better schools. Marshall, maybe it was a home thing. I don't know. I'm not too familiar with his personal.
I would say Daniel's boy, Israel, the running back from Pittsburgh. I'm not going to try to butcher the last name. He's still 20 years old. He's 5'11", 216. There was no like concept of Pittsburgh that he didn't succeed with. Like he moves like a guy who's significantly smaller than that.
Yeah.
But he's able to break off tackles. He's able to break off for big runs. To get that guy in the 4th round, I'm feeling really comfortable about the running back room, regardless of what happens with number 28.
Yeah, you know, my guy. I miss him, but I do think that Izzy was a good pick there. I would say I love the Isaiah McGuire pick. Gives the juice.
That
on the
value
edge.
is
The value
tremendous.
is great.
And I know it probably gives people PTSD and flashbacks, but it reminds me of Billings, who was projected as a 1st-round pick, who fell to the 4th. And it didn't work out necessarily. He still was a solid player who stuck around in the NFL, didn't quite live up to his draft billing, no pun intended. But I think you're looking at a similar situation where a really talented player fell way too far and you get a guy in a position of need that really fits that. I love that pick.
If you guys could do us a huge favor, give this video a like, subscribe to the YouTube channel, please, and turn on post notifications. I see some people asking in the comment section, is this going to be the last, excuse me, this is going to be the last war room that we do? No, it's not. This is the first of an installment of 4 that I'm planning to do. And it's draft season, baby. This is what we talk about. But let's continue to talk about some of these picks, right? Daniel, scroll up for me a little bit. I love the Tucker Kraft pick.
Yeah.
I love the Tucker Kraft pick. It shores us up at tight end, or at least tight end for the future. I'm expecting big things. I'm expecting big things from Tucker Kraft to, come right into this offense to be able to, start right away. But I would personally like to him, I feel like he's a little more sure-handed than Irv Smith Jr. is for my liking, if you ask me. But Tucker Kraft is a guy that I think can develop greatly. I know there's a little bit of concern out there for the simple fact that, the level of competition he played up against. But I think that this is a guy that's going to knock it out of the park. He's going to play great for us.
And he was dominant in that.
Yeah.
And that's what you want to see, man, because you can only play the guys that you're playing, right?
You want a guy that if you're going to draft them from one of some of these smaller schools, if you will, you want to make sure that he's out there dominating the talent that he is playing against. And that's what Tucker Kraft did.
I feel like the pick reminds me of Cam Taylor-Britt in some ways, because just last year we knew the Bengals were targeting a cornerback, right? And they didn't get one in the 1st round.
Yeah.
And then the 2nd round was going and like, okay, it's starting to be run on corners, the cornerbacks a little bit. And then the Bengals traded up to Cam Taylor-Britt because he was the last guy that you felt like could contribute immediately and was a solid player. I feel the same way about the tight end class with Tucker Kraft this year, because the tight end's in need. If they don't get one in round 1, you don't want to be pigeonholed into getting into round 2. But Tucker Kraft, you don't have a lot of concerns about, is that going to be a Drew Sample 2.0?
Right. Agreed with that. Going through it, I think we all are hopeful for Bergeron that he's going to develop into
a competent, right?
The
tackle,
value was just
right?
too appropriate. Like we always talk about, he wasn't really my guy in the 2nd. When you're in the 3rd, the expectations dimmer a little bit, which is realistic for him. But it's really good value. He can kind of come in and play, or he can develop. If he has to start, you're not like, oh crap, we're screwed. But if he also sits and regardless of who starts the right tackle, you're like, okay, that's good for him too. You can go a lot of different ways with him.
Right. So, Daniel, you didn't get a chance to talk. Who was your favorite pick of the entire draft?
I mean, I'm looking at this honestly. My favorite one, I really like the Stephen Gilmore one. I'll be honest, Logan. I like that as at the end of the draft. But when I look at it, Kalijah Kancey, great value. Tucker Kraft, I think you have to take a tight end in one of the first 2. You don't pass up on the value there. Round 2, you got to take a tight end there. I like the Tucker Kraft one. And then Izzy, I don't know. I love Izzy. When I watch some of these other guys, some of these other running backs, Malik, we watch, they're okay. They lack the juice. Izzy has the juice. In round 4, I like Izzy. So he's definitely my favorite pick. You had some about,
Can we just do us a huge favor real quick? Yeah. I don't know if this is gonna allow you to do it.
I don't know.
Click save on that one.
Let's see.
I think it allows you to, but it doesn't, right? It doesn't allow you to see the full
trade recap. Let me check.
No.
Oh, God. All the pop-ups.
That's another story for a different day. Anyway,
Yeah,
Well, listen, I
come
think
off.
overall we're happy with our draft. We're happy with the way. Yeah, there
Oh,
it goes
here
right
you
there.
go.
You get to see some of the stuff right there.
All right, yeah, let's check some of these ads.
Might want to tell them who you're looking for exactly, and control F that if you're looking for a specific.
I'm looking to see what some of the teams in our division did. Right, I'm looking.
Yeah,
Steelers drafted Brian
Steelers
Brees.
dropped the bag. Brees is not worth that pick.
Yeah, that's a.
They knocked it out of the park, I think, on their next like 2 or 3 picks.
Will
so,
McDonald was a great pick by them.
right.
DeJuan Jones goes to our enemies, the Kansas City Chiefs.
I don't know
So,
if anyone's necessarily
yeah.
hurt over that.
No.
initially.
Jameer Gibbs to the
Orlando Brown
Saints.
Jameer Gibbs to the Saints, so
The
it's going to be
next Orlando
Jameer Gibbs
Brown,
and
yeah.
Darnell Washington to the Packers.
Gotta
Hey,
Yeah.
Mercedes
Lewis
Lewis
back.
replacement. Yeah, there you go.
at 40. So that should just tell you right there.
Zach Charbonnet to the Buccaneers.
Yeah, that's a good pick. I guess he's the Leonard Fournette replacement.
I really like that Josh Downs.
Sam
fit
Laporta
in-
goes to
in
the Jaguars.
Dallas.
I just want to show people that we did go through this, and if there were more guys that were available at the time that we can get, like we would have definitely going out there. You know, my guy Javon Dexter.
To the Cardinals.
Yeah,
Pretty solid top. Of the
yeah.
draft.
There was a
That's a
Steelers drafted another right, Dewanya
Wanya
Morris.
Morris,
You know that
Rams.
was
Damn, Julius at 81. Oh man,
yeah.
I think that's
There
going
were-
to end up being one of my guys.
Devin Akane.
Yeah, when I think it made it a lot easier. You know, you saw Darnell Wright go off the board for us. It was like, okay,
Oh,
we
yeah.
had to make a decision, you
Right.
know, what we wanted to do. And none of those guys were available. Bijan was off the board, a pick before us. Michael Mayer was off the board to Detroit.
And
So-
Voorhees.
Yeah. Andrew that was a guy that I was looking at. That was a guy that I was waiting on, and it just wasn't there. I know that would have been a pick that we would have saw the life of the following year, but didn't work out that way for us. But
I think he's an excellent 4th round target, man.
Yeah,
if
man.
you get him there,
yeah, I think that's
you're
great
doing
value.
backflips.
Keyshawn Boutte to the Patriots.
Yeah, that's a good pick for the Patriots.
Our Steelers too.
But-
Ty Blue Kelly.
Yeah, those are some good picks. But we want to thank you guys so much for tuning in to another episode of State of the Jungle. This was our first edition of the War Room. We really, really hope that you guys enjoyed it, and we appreciate your feedback in the comment section and help guiding us one way or another. Obviously, we didn't agree on all picks, but one thing that we all could agree on is that we all have the Bengals mindset, the best interest for the Cincinnati Bengals in mind, regardless of if we agreed on every single pick or we didn't. You know what I mean? So we hope that you guys agreed with our trade that we did make to secure more picks and things of that nature. And even though I didn't get Valentine or things like that nature, you know, it still was a really, really good draft for the Cincinnati Bengals. And I think if the NFL draft plays out this way for the Bengals, I think all Bengals fans would be ecstatic, would be happy, right? So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure you guys give this video a like, subscribe to the YouTube channel, give First Star Logistics a follow. We are live, believe it or not, from the First Star Logistics studio. We're just in a different place. But we want to thank you guys so much again for joining us, tuning in. We'll be back next Wednesday, same time, same crew, live at 7 p.m. Eastern time. John, thanks so much for joining us on the show, my man. Thank you,
Thank you, man.
seriously.
Thank you. You were
Thank you,
awesome,
my
man.
man.
You
It's
were
like
awesome.
the most luxurious building in Cincinnati. I don't say that lightly. This is amazing.
If you could do them a favor, tell them where to find you at.
Oh, I got way too many followers on Twitter, but if you want to follow me at John_Sheeran, you can find all my work at a2zsports.com/Cincinnati, covering the Bengals, covering the Steelers as well. Don't mention that. But yeah, having a great time, having a blast here. First Star Logistics.
Let's go. Thank you so much
Still
again,
feuding
John.
with John_Sheeran, you know, still trying to get that.
On that case. He's telling me that he's going to remove all these inactive accounts. That guy is not tweeted in 10 years. Get him out of here.
Get him out of here so John can get his username down, right? But thank you guys so much for tuning in. We'll see you guys next time. Have a great night, everybody.
Thank you.